Alright, so today I'm going to do an unboxing. I got a CD, DVD game disc polisher, refinisher. I've got some games that I am going to be listing here on eBay, and some have some scratches and I want to take those scratches out. Bought this on Amazon probably a couple weeks ago, and today I'm going to unbox it. And I'm going to show you some of the befores and afters of the discs. All right, let's get going. Here we go. So, all right, let's see what we have. All right, so some buffers, some cleaner, and napkins. Some other like actual sanding discs. Instruction manual. All right, so got that. Here's what we're dealing with. So I'll get this out of the box, I'll get it set up, and I'll show some before and afters. All right, so let's see if I can pop this thing open. Ooh, okay. So it comes with additional supplies inside, evidently. Polishing compound. Polishing compound. Number 2. Yeah, alright, so I got 2 each of those. And then this is an anti-static spray. Alright, here is the machine. I've opened it up. I took the shrink wrap off the front. The front has different choices for how long it goes. And then the power switch. Before I actually mount the game on there, I'm just going to turn this on and see what happens. It doesn't tell me to do this, but alright, so power to the switch at least, that's good. Let me hit this 10-second thing. It doesn't do anything. I imagine because this is a safety, I'm going to get a disc selected, I'll get it mounted on here. You'll see the condition of that, and then we'll go on to the next step. So over here, I'm going to remove this nut from the disc plate. It actually also spins. So we've got the first game disc, the Voodoo Vince. It says put it label side down, put the nut back on. Alright, so I've got that nut tightened on. Next step says to take the buffing pad, the white side. This underside is kind of a felt, which I think allows it to stick to the little nubs coming out there. So let me put that on, the spindle. Yeah, it's kind of grabbing like a hook and loop, so it's preventing that from twisting. So with that, I think we'll go on to the next step. All right, so the directions now say to take the polishing compound, put it onto the disc, and it says for the first use to kind of liberally cover the disc, but I just used my finger to spread that out a little bit. All right, so let's close this up. It says make sure you hear the lid snap. It did. Power button, and I'll hit the 2 minutes. We'll give you the overhead view so you can see. So we're only into this about 30 seconds, 45 seconds, and what I'm seeing is there's like condensation forming in there, like heat, which makes sense. I guess there's some friction happening in there. So it's sounding like it's running pretty smoothly. A little bit of vibration. Pretty quiet. Shouldn't be too much longer now. Alright, so this just finished. Let's open it up and see. I should have shown the disc before. Alright, that looks perfect actually. I don't see a single blemish on there. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to switch that out for the instructions, grab the other compound, the blue one, and we'll finish the process. Alright, so now I put in the second disc, put the blue compound on it. This way, and I just put it on like icing instead of like smearing it around. I imagine the rotation and the contact with the CD here, the game, will spread it out. So it says to put that down for 1 minute without cleaning the previous solution off. So let me set that down. Hit the 1 minute. So that's the second part, or the last step really, of the buffing and polishing. Again, still looks really smooth, obviously. That worked more or less the way I wanted to, except for probably should have smeared it in a little bit. So I'm going to unbolt this and clean it up. It says use the wiping cloths that it provides. And these feel more or less just like a heavy-ish paper towel. Anyway, I'll do that next. All right, so there it is. It looks pretty amazing, actually. This guy will go next. And just a reminder, this is the one with the deep cut, or the deep scratch, and then several other scratches there. So let me get this mounted and we'll see. I'll take a picture before we get going and we'll get this polished next. All right, have this now mounted. Let's see if we can find that scratch. Oh yeah, there's the big one right there. That big scratch. Okay, so that's the way to do this. So, oh yeah, you can see the surface scratches up here at the top. All right, so that one's mounted. I put the first buffing pad on. I'll get some solution on there and get this spinning here in just a sec. All right, the instructions call for 5 to 6 drops of the compound on each side, about a size of a quarter. We'll select 2 minutes and we'll fire this thing up. I'm gonna spare you the current progress. I'm gonna flip out the disc and we'll keep going. There's definitely a big improvement. Yeah, this is the tough part, trying to find the scratches again. Let me just go around the perimeter. So the small surface scratches are mostly gone. So I'd say it did a really good job. Here I can see by this X is where the other scratch starts. Let's see, can we get it? Yeah, so it's a little bit, it's still present. I would guess that at this point it probably, the CD would work. So the next level is to go sanding pads that are available here, and it seems like a pretty aggressive step. I'm sure it would work fine. I think the best thing for me to do next would be to test that in a console and see does it work or not as it is. If it still continues to have problems, then I could go through the sanding process and then buff it out from there. But I think I'm going to stop with that disc at this point. I should have also said earlier, that soft cloth that came with the kit, it's not like a paper towel. Paper towel is definitely a little bit more fibery and scratchy, and that paper towel that it came with is a softer towel. So if you can find an alternative to that, probably shouldn't be super bad to find a disposable soft cloth, but that is the difference that I found. All right, here we go. This is the before on the final game. Yeah, you can see the scratches there along the edge. So I'm just spinning it. We're seeing a lot of surface scratches. There's one that you can see pretty easily. So that's what we're starting with. We'll do the whole routine again. The one thing I guess I'll mention is when you do put this down, you see the spring there. It's not a crazy amount of pressure, but you do kind of have to push firmly to get that thing to snap down for the spring to go back. Anyway, so I'll do that and we'll take a look after. Okay, that was a minute of the blue. So let's just see what this thing looks like fresh off the buffer. Now, of course we have to clean that residue off, but let's just take a look at the surface. That's all the compound. Yeah, let me clean that up and we'll take a look at it while it's still on here. Okay, so now I've got that cleaned up. Still haven't removed it from the spindle, but I'm not seeing any surface scratches anymore. Oh, there's that one. So I'd say this thing did a really nice job. Now, the price of it may not make sense for you to get one. I bought a huge game lot with a ton of Xbox, PS2, and some of these older discs, so I expected a lot of repairs and cleanups that I'd have to do. And the margins are pretty small on this stuff, so this would come in handy to salvage a very beat up, high-priced, high-value game that maybe others have passed on because they're afraid of the way it looks. You probably get some benefit there. And then just to have a better presentation if you're doing high volume. So as you saw there, or as it says, it's only a couple of minutes per game disc, so it's not a huge time investment, and while that's happening you can easily multitask and do other stuff. So hopefully this unboxing and review is helpful. I would call it a success. Let me post the link to where I got this off of Amazon, and if you want to get one, you can try it out. So far I'd say I'm pretty happy with it. So